not now been able to say to Shaq, yeah, I have as many rings as you do. It'll be interesting to see what happened. Rumors came out earlier this week about Shaquille O'Neal possibly going to Cleveland. And it'll be interesting. People want to make a lot of stuff out of everything that happens. And it's very possible that Shaq could end up in Cleveland. Now the question is, financially, is that a good move for the Cavs? Because they're going to have to pay LeBron huge bucks next year in order to stay. So financially, is it a smart move for the Cavs to get Shaq? And second of all, does Shaq really make the Cavs that much of a contender? Everybody thought that when he went to Phoenix and played with Amari Stoudemire and Steve Nash and Leandro Barbosa that he'd be able to bring a championship to Phoenix, but he wasn't able to do that. So what makes him going to Cleveland that much more likely to win an NBA championship when he can't get it done without himself? Now, Shaq is as much of an egomaniac as Kobe, and I love Shaq a lot more than I love Kobe. But I think Shaq would be willing to play with LeBron and be willing to take less money to play with LeBron because he knows that if he goes to play with LeBron, he's got a better chance of winning a championship coming out of the East, like he did when he was with Miami, than he does coming out of the West. And he knows he can take a few days off in the East and a few games off, not that he couldn't take off playing in the West, playing against stiffer competition night in and night out. Now, back to the Lakers. Kobe Bryant not leaving the Lakers. Yeah, go figure. Why would he? The guy has everything. He's a god in LA, and every other city that has an NBA team hates him. Where would he go? Where would he go? Does he want to go play in Denver? Why would he go to Denver? Why would he go anywhere? Why wouldn't he stay in LA? Now, whether Phil Jackson comes back, I don't think that's going to make a big difference, but Kobe's not going to leave LA. There's not going to be this huge, and you know what? Thankfully, there's not going to be this huge debate like there was the last time Kobe's contract came up for renewal, where he was saying, oh, trade me. I'm going to go play for the Clippers, blah, blah, blah. BS. Cut the garbage. And Kobe finally did. He said, guys, I'm not talking about this, and I haven't talked about it in a while, and I don't want to talk about it now. What makes you think that's going to happen? Look, Kobe's not going anywhere. Kobe's got everything he wants in LA. And Kobe can be his own man in LA. He doesn't have to answer to anybody else. He doesn't have to play with anybody else. Kobe can be Kobe in LA, and it's one of the few places where he can get away with it. And it's one of the few places where he can be himself, and he's going to stay there. Don't expect him to leave. In other news, staying with basketball, but let's flip over to college. Kevin O'Neal announced today that he is taking over the job at USC. USC, that's one of those programs you might as well. John Calipari, I think, would be the perfect fit at USC right now because they're so deep in allegations, it's not funny. And it goes a lot deeper than O.J. Mayo. There's all sorts of shady stuff going on at USC, and it's been there for a while. And Kevin O'Neal, I don't know that he's going to be the savior for USC, but hopefully he'll at least keep him out of trouble. Tim Floyd is a coach. Tim Floyd doesn't deserve a job. He belongs either overseas or in the NBA. He certainly doesn't deserve a job in the NBA, though. But he's the type of coach he can't coach in college because there's too much illegal stuff that he can get his hands into, and he royally screwed up at USC. Whether it was the O.J. Mayo thing, he royally screwed up. Kevin O'Neal, I don't like his background, but like I said, at least he's going to do his best to keep USC out of the news. Somebody explain to me how this happens. How does USC's basketball program have all sorts of NCAA violations, but USC's football program manages to stay out of them? One word, Pete Carroll. Okay, two words, one guy, Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll is, without a doubt, one of the best college coaches in the game. And if Kevin O'Neal is as smart as he claims he is, the first thing he'll do is go meet with Pete Carroll and say, Pete, what can we do to get this job done? Because Pete Carroll, he's already tweeted it, ladies and gentlemen. He's already on, here I go about Twitter again. He's already said, welcome to LA, blah, blah, blah. Kevin O'Neal, if you're smart, go meet with Pete Carroll. Go play basketball with him. He plays basketball around lunchtime most days. Go play basketball with him. Learn a little something from him. Learn about his pedigree. Pick up after Pete Carroll. Know that you'll never be as good as Pete Carroll, but certainly at least try because it won't hurt. And I wish the best for USC basketball. I really do. This O.J. Mayo thing, I hope it goes away. The whole O.J. Mayo thing was just shady. And college basketball has become more and more shady these days. But I certainly wish the best to Kevin O'Neal as he ventures into to La La Land and deals with all that comes with being a coach at USC. Now, speaking of corrupt NBA programs, speaking of corrupt NCAA programs, let's talk a little bit about Memphis, shall we? And John Calipari, Kentucky fans out there, beware. It's going to happen. There's going to be some sort of NCAA violation that pops up while John Calipari is at Kentucky. Just hope your boosters have enough money to take care of it, because it's going to happen. They didn't have enough money to cover it up at UMass. They didn't have enough money to cover it up at Memphis. Hope they have enough money to cover it up at Kentucky, because it will happen. I promise you this. Antonio Anderson has come out and said, we deserve our wins. It'd be very tough, honestly, but at the same time, we know what we did. We know those wins are ours. We deserved them. Look, Antonio, nobody's going to argue that. Nobody's going to argue that you went out and won 38 games. Nobody's going to argue that you lost to Kansas in the NCAA championship. What they are going to argue is that you did it illegally while other teams were doing it honestly. And that's the problem. Those wins, they were earned on the basketball court. Nobody's claiming that you paid off the refs or anything like that. But it's the people that you put on the basketball court that you put on there illegally. That's what people are claiming. Nobody's going to take those wins away from Memphis. They're going to take the wins away from Memphis, but they're never going to take them away from you. All right? You've got those wins. Congratulations. Take your degree. Go pursue your NBA dreams, which aren't going to happen, and be done with it. You know, you're just trying to get back in the news right before the NBA draft, and I can't really say I blame you for that, but come on. Look, you cheated. If you did it allegedly, then come out with it and be honest about it. It's okay. Nobody's going to take away the wins from the Memphis players, but they are going to take them away from the university as well. They should, if this does come out. And you know what, Antonio Anderson, go ahead, have your 38 wins. That's besides the point right now. The point right now is that Memphis cheated. John Calipari's dirty. Kentucky fans, beware. You're listening to the Michael Spencer Show. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.